Hey up everybody and welcome to this video. So I've been getting a lot of questions since I last did the what is 1938 a very British Civil War video just about 2-3 years ago now, asking how to actually get into the game, because it's not openly clear when you first started to get into it. So this video series is going to be for helping out you poor people who want to get into the game, which we absolutely love to see, but don't know where to start. This is going to put you on your feet, facing in the right direction, and hopefully get you immersed into the world of 1938, the very British Civil War. So this is going to be a series that goes on every fortnight, so there'll be a new getting started video every 2 weeks. I'm going to cover the rules and the books today, and then I'm going to cover the relevant factions, the main factions in the game, that being the British Union of Fascists, the People's Armies, the Royalists, the Anglican League, the Scottish Republic and the Yorkists. So that gives you a fairly good starting point to get into either of the main factions and start playing the game. I'm going to assume a fair bit of familiarity with the setting as well from this. I don't want to go massively into the lore. If you don't know, there will be some book recommendations in this video, and of course if you do have a spare 18 minutes, do go see my magnum opus on YouTube, the what is 1938, very British Civil War, because I put a lot of effort into that and it seems to be getting a lot of love. The audio is a bit shite, but we're all adults here, we can get over that surely. So anyway, without further ado, I hope you enjoy and let's get right into it. So first off, I'm going to talk about the background books you're going to need just to get into the game. The first one, these are all available from Solway Crafts and Miniatures, by the way, who have an eBay page which I'll link to in the description. The first book is the Concise source book. This gives you a general kind of description of the setting. It gives you the knowledge of what's been going on, the events that led up to the Civil War, the factions that are there, the battles that have been going on. Generally, just a really good overview of the setting, and again, gets you more acquainted with your faction and the kind of general context of which the game will be set. That's £8, so I don't think that's too bad a deal for what is essentially a pretty decent lore book with some pretty pictures in it as well. Next, I'm going to be recommending a relevant army book. I'll go into more detail about these in the relevant faction videos, but this is just going to give you the history of your army, the organisation, be it military and political as well, the ideologies behind these kind of people, as well as giving you some lovely pictures of models and artwork like you get in an Osprey book with the colour plates. So this is just to get you much more acquainted with your faction. Who are you actually playing on the tabletop and what are they fighting for? These ideas that you probably need to get to grips with if you're going to be a general on the tabletop. And finally, the last book I'm going to recommend to you in terms of background is going to be the flag books. There's 2 flag books. The first one covers the Royalists and the Fascists all across the now disunited kingdom, and the second one covers everyone else, which you might think is a bit broad considering how many factions are in the game. It's a pretty big book, you're going to get your value for money there. And the reason why I recommend this is because, as a very firm vexiologist, someone who loves their flags, it gives you a lot of flavour and character to your force. It gives you that kind of local dimension to it. It has a bit more history to it, and also everyone loves pretty flags. It's just a fact of life. So if you want that more local flavour to your force and, you know, something that looks pretty on a model, by all means get the flag book. That's your kind of background there, the opening kind of book you'll probably need to get into the setting. I'm now going to go on to something that's a little bit less clear. It's going to be the rules. There is no strict rule set for a very British Civil War, so you kind of have the free choice of choosing what works best for you. There's two kind of dedicated rule sets for the game. There's Brigadier 38 and Went the Day Well, but there can also be other rule sets like Chain of Command or that weird Osprey into War 1 or any other kind of World War II system. But for the purposes of this video series, I'm going to assume they're going to be working off bolt action, just because that's what I do personally. I do have experience with other games as well, but bolt action I've found is the one that works the best to my kind of play style. It's very easy to learn, most people are already kind of familiar with it, so you're going to be able to find people that are already familiar with the game, and there's not too many new rules you have to get to to overcome. You should just be able to jump in with it, give it a try with models you've already got, that kind of thing. But of course, other rule systems are available. I'm unfortunately not sponsored by Warlord Games, and I would very much love to be. I could do with a few more pennies to fund me plastic and metal addiction, but we'll have to do for now, I guess, with the student loan and the job. But anyway, in terms of getting into bolt action, you've got all the usual stuff. You've got your order dice, your rule book, the pin markers, the templates, all that kind of thing. Any kind of normal guide for bolt action will do here. But I am going to suggest a few more things just again to add that kind of very British flavour to the game. The first thing is going to be the armies of the very British Civil War that you can be found on the forums. I'll attach a link down below. These give you point values, special units, national traits, and a huge amount of customization for the game, just to give it that more kind of flavour and the structure as well, so you can still do point matches if you really fancy throwing your very British Civil War force up against some kind of late war Soviet army. I wouldn't recommend it, but you know, to each their own, I guess. But again, that gives you the kind of structure, and I'll put the link for that down below. Again, I'm going to suggest a final thing for the flavour. It's going to be the random event cards for Went the Day Well from Sally Forth. Again, these are supposed to be used for a different game. They're supposed to be used for the other very British Civil War system, but they give you so much flavour, and it's just so fun to play, and they fit really well in with bolt action. You can have some of the cards include the BUF jack boots. The BUF have forgotten their polish for their jack boots, and they have a morale debuff, or it could be something ridiculous like the unit skips a turn because a quite nasty argument has broken out about whether a Yorkshire pudding should be crispy or soggy. It's just these kind of silly little things that liven up that probably could be quite a dark universe to be playing a game in. It gives it that kind of whimsical Dad's Army kind of feel to the game that makes it so charming, I guess. Anyway, those are my suggestions for getting into the game. Books wise, you've got the kind of groundwork now. You've got your books, you've got your tokens, you've got your random event cards. The series is going to go on to talk about the models you're going to need, because of course you can't really play a war game without your models. So I hope you enjoyed this series. Like I say, it's going to be regular because I am very much bored in the house and in the house bored, and I want to try and help people get into very British Civil War and try and grow the community just to make it more vibrant than it already is. So anyway, like I say, hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll stick about as well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye guys.